set some goals and, plan and execute and achieve those goals. We're going to be hanging out with our special guest this morning. Her name is Whitney. Whitney Akinyi. Welcome to the Morning Fix. This is a treat indeed.
Truly,
A full house. I saw her dancing earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, not your average coach.
Absolutely.
This ain't your average coach. She's just telling you what to do in life and dancing while she's at it. I like it.
Planning money, planning moves as well.
Yeah. Hey, Whitney.
Hi, guys.
How you doing? It is
good.
very likely that your parents were Whitney Houston fans.
Yeah, how did
I
you know?
mean,
Obviously.
I mean, I thought to myself,
Yeah, the gut feeling.
I wondered where would this come from? But yeah, you get to see a lot of 90s babies or 80s babies, being named after,
Yeah.
Superstars.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word. Male.
Mega superstars.
Mega superstar.
Whitney
Love
Akinyi,
it.
welcome to the Morning Fix. It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we jump into the topic of the day, and it's all about dating couples and the segment we want to focus on, because you see, they're not fully committed, but yet they are.
Yeah.
They're doing things couples do, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting category. Some would advise, when you're in, you're in. You don't know about tomorrow. Perform as
though, yeah.
focus on today.
Yeah.
We're going to be touching on that. But tell us a little bit about what you do for the people who are engaging you and, meeting you for the first time.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Whitney Akinyi, and I am the founder of The Boss Domain, a company that was started with the sole purpose of helping people and businesses maximize on their potential through the different products and services that we offer. So my main anchor product as of now is the Boss Planner, which is a basic productivity tool that helps people in the corporate and business space plan themselves. So it's a very structured and detailed book. It's not your typical notebook that you just write to-do lists.
Okay.
So you have sections where you can plan for your quarter, your year, your finances. You have daily quotes, the daily planning segment. It's a lot, honestly. And I started this business in 2019. When I
Wow.
was like 19 years, 20. And I'm fresh
Nice.
I'm just in campus there. I'm like, I need to do something with my life,
Yeah.
It's not just about going out, having fun.
Yeah.
Like, that'll always be there, honestly. Like, but what impact are you leaving behind?
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important thing. So I did a couple of businesses, a lot, honestly. And I can't even tell you where my inspiration for starting business came from. I just needed money. At that point, you're young, you need money, your parents are not giving you money, and you need to do things.
Yeah.
So I was in the fashion industry, food industry. Yeah, I did a lot, guys. I'm a hustler nation.
Yeah. You are the face of that.
I'm the face. So then I finally landed on the year compass. So as I was going through this in 2019, I was like, I should do something like this for people, like something more sustainable that will carry them throughout the year. So then I wrote the first planner, and my target audience was high school students.
Nice.
So I used to go to high schools, give talks, and hope the kids would buy these books. And at that point, one book was at 400 bob. So obviously, no child is gonna part with 400 shillings to buy a book. Honestly, they have funkies to go for and other things to do. Like, it's not a priority. So at that point is when I started now developing the need to understand how marketing works. So that target audience was obviously off. So now I focused on people my age. I was like, okay, maybe they have money they can spare. Some of them are like me. They're thinking like me. They want to do things for themselves. So then I wrote another book. At 550, it went well. I sold 100. Then the next year I decided, you know what, I'm going all out. At this point, I don't care if you are my age, if you're 40, if you're 50, you need
You're
to
targeting
plan.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I need people who have purchasing power first, and I just want to go all out without restrictions. So
Yeah.
then I wrote the Boss Planner. That was in 2020, December, November. So at that point, I didn't have quite a lot of money because I was not planning my finances quite well. My business money comes in. My mom is like, "Hey, nisaidia hapo kidogo." It's gone. You've not adequately budgeted for your money.
Yeah.
You're spending, and there's not a lot coming in. So I need to produce books. I don't have money. I told my mom, look, I need to print a sample. Just help me with 1,000 bob. So she gives me 1,000 bob, and I'm like, okay, add another 1,000 because I need to run ads on Instagram. So I go on Instagram, I take pictures of the sample, and I run the ads. At this point, I didn't expect much, honestly, because the business had been, I was selling maybe 10 books a month. So I was like, okay, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
The first week I sold 50. And I was like, okay, so
There's
we
something
can do
here.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something here. And most of the people were not just from Kenya. I have clients from Tanzania, Uganda, others are from all over the world. And they're like, can you ship to? I'm like, no, I don't know. I only have the sample, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Fina. You know? So that's when the business started growing slowly and slowly. I got many, many, many more orders. And that particular year, I sold 700 books. And I was selling one at 1,500. And I was like, okay, so we can do this.
Yeah.
Let's make this product better. Let's focus more on our target audience, who we are, how the marketing strategies, etc. Then I wrote another one. I bettered it. That was in 2021. I sold 1,000. Then 2022, I sold 1,200. And now in 2023, I've already sold 500.
Wow.
I'm like,
Could you get the
guys.
cheers in?
Oh, man.
Could you get the cheers in
that
for
is
her?
massive.
I think
is
that sounds
massive.
so inspirational.
Absolutely amazing.
Very inspirational for
Wow.
someone who's listening to that. And to see tangible results. I think that's so motivating, even for you, starting off with a brilliant idea and then now results that you can actually see. First of all, I just have to give it to you. Boss Domain is just genius. I mean, beautiful, beautiful coining of words. I think it's great. What's the biggest mistake young people make, especially when they make money for the first time? Because you can imagine your first good check, and the definition of good check varies. You know, that one time you're like, what? I have never seen money like this. And you're in the business of helping people plan their cash. Financial literacy, we have a long way to go. All of us are still in the school of,
Yeah.
That's true.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they're young, when they first make that coin, when they hit the jackpot?
The biggest mistake is not knowing what to do with your money. Like, you don't have an adequate plan. We often, I know this is cliche, but failing to plan
It's
is
planning to fail.
If the money comes in, the first thing you do is spend instead of paying yourself first. So paying yourself first, how does that look like? Are you saving? Are you investing? That's the first thing you should do first before money starts going to form Saturday, you need to buy clothes, you need that iPhone, you need to upgrade. Like, your priorities must be in check first.
Right.
And that's the biggest mistake that I have personally made in my business, because the money comes in, you're making money, but you're not seeing where the money is going. And you wonder to yourself, so should I keep selling? Like, the thing is not that you should keep selling or making more money. It's managing your expenses, and it's all about your money habits.
Yeah.
And
a
that's
good
something that I've really picked up, to be honest, this year. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of complaining about the same thing. It's time to be intentional. So sit down, have a budget. These days, like, if you have an Apple, an iOS, there's this app called Numbers. I don't know if you know it. So it basically has personal budget Excel sheets. So you can write down how much you spend. Every single time you spend, write it down. Then you'll realize, did you come to this life to pay Ubers? Did you?
And you're paying unnecessarily for so many crazy things.
Yeah, like food. Can you eat at home? Can we do that, please? So once you understand and accept what your negative habits are, then you are a closer step of making change.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about, and I like that you touched on it, because the thing that was ringing in my head is money habits. And maybe you can teach us or tell us, because you've worked with people and you've worked with companies, how do people break psychological bad money habits? Because I think that's very integral, because on one front, somebody might actually download that, see everything that they're spending, get frustrated and delete that app. But there's a psychology to breaking bad money habits. Maybe you can take us a little bit through the experiences that you've had on helping people with that.
Okay, so I'll touch on habits in general before we get to money.
Okay.
Because when it comes to life, we have very different segments. There's health. There's someone who has bad habits with eating.
That's true.
There's someone who has bad habits with relationships, with their personal self, with their mindset, how they speak to themselves. So when it comes to habits, the number one thing that people often miss on is, how every year we start the new year with a lot of psych, the January frenzy. Hey, new year, new me.
Yeah.
Hey, this.
New year, new me.
Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then by the time it gets to Feb, like right now, I'm so sure over 50% people have already forgotten about their New Year's resolutions. And they're like, you know what? I tried my best. It's not worked out. But have you really tried your best?
Mm-hmm.
So the first step to identifying, or rather changing your negative habits, is acknowledging what you're doing first. You need to do a self-audit. There's a difference between who you are and who you want to be. And the gap between the two are the actions and the habits that you're taking. So just do a self-audit. Under health, under finances, under relationships, what is it that you're doing? Write it down. I'm very big on writing things down because you're more aware, and your brain, it gets into your brain when you write things down. So then go to who you'd like to be under the different segments. Do they too much? Most times you find that the two really don't match, because you want to, for example, most people say, I want to invest. No, I want to invest in a circle. I want to start saving. Yeah. That's your goal. But on a day-to-day basis, what are you doing that is contributing to this goal at large? That's the first step. Right. And the second step is accepting. You just have to accept. Come on, konje, guys. There's no, this denial is what kills us, to be honest. And I realized this with myself, my friends, and the people around me. Sometimes you can be, it's not that you're full of yourself, but you're so sure you're not doing that thing that you told yourself you're not supposed to do. Like, for example, if you have a habit of comparing yourself to others. Oh, wow. You're not comparing, but someone else who's listening to you speak will be like, I think you are. Recently, I was having a conversation with a colleague, and I was telling her about, we are now 25. I was telling her so many things, and she's like, Whitney, you need to stop comparing yourself to others. Like, I don't do that. You're lying. I really don't. Then I sat down and thought about it. I was like, wait, I actually, because she's seen it, she's not crazy to say it. So acceptance of the negative habits that you have, and having a strong anchor as to why you want to change these habits. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Like the why, that's everything. If it's not strong enough, then you're not going to do it. Like, you want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Yeah. Is it because you want that boy to like you? Okay, that's motivating for some people. Right? That's true. But if the why is not strong enough, then you won't be willing to change the habit. And I like that. Consistent.
I like that. Those are very great tidbits right there that have been shared, right?
Absolutely.
Anything that you'd like to ask when it comes to financial or life planning in general?
Oh, okay. Maybe I'd talk about artists or entertainers who don't get
consistent income.
Yes, thank you. Hey, yes, consistent income. You get graphic designers or just people paid after a certain amount of time. How do you advise them to manage? Wasikwe wako in deni, and then they pay their denis, and then it's back again.
Back to the cycle.
Yeah.
For such people, again, acceptance.
Like me.
You just have to accept your situation, with all honesty. Like, you cannot, you and a salaried person are not the same.
True.
You and a business person and artist, we're all the same. The business is not consistent. Like, this month is 50,000, tomorrow it's 10.
Right.
So what are you going to do? Once again, you need to write down your recurring expenses. Okay. Like, what are the costs that, if it's rent, if it's food, if it's maybe you're paying for things like Canva, if you're in graphics, or Adobe, like those recurring things that you need. Right. At this point, you're focusing on needs, not wants. Yeah. Akuna you want to go to wapi. You focus on your needs first. Write down your needs and focus on planning. Like, if you have rent, your rent is 20 Gs, for example, and you just got a gig of 100 Gs, very well you don't know if you're gonna, when the next gig is gonna come.
That's true.
The best thing would be, okay, what I can do is I pay rent like 20 Gs for this month, then I pay for the subsequent months, I can pay a deposit of another 20. Yeah. So next month you've settled at a solid 10K.
That's true.
And the other month you've also settled another solid 10K. Right. So now you keep working. That's how you work. You plan ahead. Like, for us people with inconsistent income, you have to always plan ahead. If you don't, you'll figure there, then you start calling people this idea.
Yeah.
Loans left, right, center, and you don't know when the next next cash is gonna come.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Earlier we had a conversation about relationships, and it's the month of love. We're gonna be having two very distant or very close things being discussed during this month, and money and love. go hand in hand. That's the
Yes.
reality of life.
That's true.
Ask your grandmama. You know, someone had to woo her for you to get here.
Yeah.
But money can be sticky, and couples do not want to talk about it. But we want to focus on couples that are dating. What's the right thing to do? We put a poll out on our social media, and of course, we want to indulge you. You've probably had people come to you as individuals asking, look, I'm dating someone. Should I be putting my money there? If I do not share my financial details or how healthy I am financially,
Right.
am I being indiscreet? I want to be as transparent as possible. People use money also to manipulate situations. We know this.
That's true.
So, what advice do you have for dating couples, and how should they work their money? Should they pull it together? Should they merge it together? If they're living apart, does he have, the entitlement to know how much I